Good morning. Hey guys, it's Queen Cleo. I know I haven't did a video in a while, but I'm just coming to spread the word today. Um, we have got through all the pagan holidays, and I'm happy. It's over. We have one coming up, which is Valentine's Day. So I just want to encourage the Hebrews that are into the truth and who are not, who don't know that truth. Our true identity is we are Hebrew Israelites. We are of Judah because the Messiah is of Judah. He is the only God that we are to serve. I know in captivity they are telling you can be Catholic, you can be Baptist, you can be holiness, you can be Muslim, you can be, Buddha, the universe, but the universe will not be here unless God created it. There's no other God than Him. We ought to serve Him, no other God. So when someone's telling you, oh, you can do this, you can do that, everybody has their own religion. No, everybody does not have their own religion. Religion is of Jesus and the God above, His Father. They're both in heaven. So with the new year that they say that is Romish, we're not in the new year. The new year is when seasons change. And Abib, which is in March, is the new year. The new year you celebrated just, is not the new year. It is when the seasons change, the new months, the new year. It's when things are changing, not when things are the same. It's in the spring. That is the new year, Abib. Everything in the Bible will tell you that what you're celebrating and what you're doing is opposite of what God wants for you. We can no longer pretend that you are serving Him right when you're not reading. He tells you to study and show yourself reproved in the Bible. You have to know the word in order to serve Him right. The dietary law is still in effect. We don't eat pork. We don't eat shrimp. We don't eat crab, lobster. What Hebrews love to buy and eat. He created you for Him, not the other way around. You cannot walk around and think you can do all this and God is going to be pleased with you. Celebrating paganism is not what He's happy about. This past year, we're still in a year, but in December, that's the most disrespectful holiday to the Messiah. The pagans even say that they don't know how Christmas and Jesus are connected because the Roman gods were born on the 25th. Jesus was not. So it's a lot that you have to go into and research. I know you want to have good times with your family, but we have feast days. That is in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, that we are to celebrate and keep in their season. We have one coming up. Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You have Atonement. You have the Feast of Trumpets. You have the Feast of Tabernacles. You have 7 that you are to observe and to follow. There's no record of Christmas. Easter is mentioned in the Bible. But when Easter was going on, the Messiah was celebrating Passover. So if Jesus was not celebrating Easter, then why are you? You have to think about it. Why am I following all these pagan days? Why I'm celebrating all these days? Why? What's the reason? What's the reason to celebrate Valentine's Day? Because I can tell my husband every day I love him. I can tell my mother every day I love her. I don't have to buy her a heart or a card because she is in my heart forever. He's in my heart forever. Like, you have to stop. You have to come away from these pagan, the most horrible and misleading is Sunday worship. We were to celebrate and go and serve God one day. That's Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. If you can't serve him for one day and you have to be told what day to go on, then you need to get in the Bible. Because Sunday is not the day. It hasn't been changed. Well, actually, it was changed by a Roman god. So that's where Sunday comes from. But in his book, it has not been changed. And, everybody has an issue. But if you go to church on Sunday, you're worshiping the sun god, the big orb in the sky. That's where Sunday comes from. It is a week who were named by Romans. They're pagan. There's a meaning. Is you have to get to a point where you read and he'll tell you everything you need to know. Serve him, keep his commandments. If you love me, keep my commandments. You can't keep God's commandments if you're still violating them. Like, you just need to read and do your research. Like, we cannot keep celebrating things that are not of him. It's not of him. It's cold this morning, so I had to put on my coat. Yeah, we're in captivity. We're, when you wonder why you're facing, tough times, hardships, because he told you, if you keep my commandments, weapons will form, but they won't prosper. How can he protect you if you are not serving him right? If you're not serving him right, you're not doing what he says to do. These holidays are, they're going to come, but you have to be strong and, stand up for what, you believe in, what God told, what God tells you, or what he mentions in the Bible. There's nothing in the Bible that is, wrong. Everything has been written out for us. It's a plan to salvation, for us to be in the first resurrection, to be judged, be able to judge those who are sinning. Your lifestyle, what are you doing, what are you into, are all according to what you read in the Bible. The way you talk, the way you walk, the way you were formed, the way you breathe, that's his breath in your body. He breathed life into Adam. And then he put a spell, not spell, God forgive me. He put a deep sleep on him. And then he went in and cut a rib and made woman. That's how man and woman were created. And there's an order. And when it's out of order, that's when things don't go to plan that God created. He said man is to lead, women is to follow. The man is your head covering. Jesus is his head covering, and the head covering of the Messiah is God. You have to get to where you cannot do what you want. This is not your world. He created this world and has been disrespecting him ever since in the Bible. But it belongs to the Messiah. The universe was made by the Messiah. All those false gods are not who you are to serve. He said, don't serve them how you are to serve me. Like, the Hebrews have been the most disrespectful nation, and you wonder why the Gentiles, the Caucasians, are over you. You wonder why every nation can have a successful business and the Hebrews can't. Because they were disrespectful, and God said you are to serve your enemies. I will make them, basically he's telling you, you are to serve them. You're going to be beaten. You're going to be taken away from your homeland. You're going to have to serve and work hard for what you had already in your hand. The land was already the Hebrews, but they were scared to go in against the giants in the Bible. God said you already have the victory. Just go. And nothing's going to be handed to you. You have to work for it. You have to work for what God says. That is yours. You have to show yourself approved. You have to study. You have to get in the Bible. And, you know, your family going to say, well, we don't know. Well, she don't celebrate this and that. My family, I told them, you know, I tell them I pray for them. And, you know, I pray for them to come away from all the pagan worship and what they're consuming. You know, disrespecting the Messiah with the dietary law and celebrating, like, pagan holidays, pagan worship. But I have made it up in my mind that I am going to do the works of the Lord. No one else. He is my king. He is my everything. He has always been there to stop anything that came, anyone, any spirits that came against me. He has always been there. I don't have to worry. I don't have to be fearful of anything but the Messiah. Because I'm to serve him. I'm to love him. I'm to follow his feast days. This world is, you know, very wicked. What we celebrate and what you are into, the sodomy that's going on. You know, male and female were never meant to be. And I'm sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings. But it wasn't. And it's getting into where the kids that are elementary is spirits. God said he wants you to be fruitful. You can't be fruitful with the same person. The same sex, you can't. You have to come away from all that. Being spiteful, being nasty, being evil, and think you're going to get into the kingdom that way. No, you're not. You have to have a clean heart. He said, clean. Keep your hands clean. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not, you know, sin against your neighbor. No. You got to follow the commandments. And wear your head covering, ladies, when you pray. You have to. Because, you know, a woman that prays and with their head uncovered dishonor their head. And men, you don't have to cover your head when you pray. You don't walk into church with a hat. You don't wear any head covering when you pray. This is for the women only. But we have to come to the realization why the world is the way it is. Why we're in war. Why are things happening to the Hebrews? Why are they being beaten? Why are they being enslaved? Why are they being killed by each other? Because they're lost. They don't know themselves. They don't know their identity. They're calling themselves the N-word. You are Hebrew. You are from Hebrews, the Negroes. You are the top people. You are procure people. You were chosen. You were first. But by the disrespect, you're last now. You're in poverty. You're in rural areas. And I have both in me. Hebrew, Gentile. I accept both. But I'm taking a stand, like, I'm not going to be what the world wants me to be. I don't care about the fame. I don't care about being in a group or being accepted by the world when I'm accepted by Messiah. I'm accepted by the Lord. He is my blessing. He is my king. He's everything. He gave me everything I have. And I owe everything to him. So I'm going to serve him the right way. I'm going to serve him the way he tells me and told me in past times. Because at the end of the day, when we leave this temporary dwelling, your body. You are asleep until he rise up and wake you up. The dead in Christ will rise first. You don't make a move. You don't go anywhere unless God okays it. Anything that happens in this world, God okay it. And when you come back, the slain of the Lord is going to be many. He is coming to reward the wicked greatly. And he's starting in the sanctuary, the church first. He coming in the church. The ones that say, oh, I, cast out devils in your name. I did this in your name. And if you have not been in the truth and not telling his people what is going on, he is going to say, get away from me, work of iniquity. I never knew you. Depart. Depart from me. He don't know you because you haven't served him right. You've been eating pork. You have been eating crab, lobster, shrimp. You've been eating everything you want to eat. You have not followed the dietary law. You have not cared about the widow, the fatherless, the Levite. You haven't given back you haven't paid your tithes, 10%. He does not know you. You cannot live your life the way you want to and the way you were taught. I've been taught for years to worship on Sunday. I don't worship on Sunday. My friends invite me to certain things. If it's after sundown, I'm going. But I'm not going before it. Certain schedule, if I have to work, that's because I'm in my temporary dwelling or captivity. He understands that. But no, Friday sundown, Saturday sundown is for him. It's not up for debate. It hasn't been changed. Nothing has been changed other than the new covenant we were under. We're under now. The laws are still in effect. The commandments are still in effect. You cannot do what you want and think you're going to get in the kingdom like that. You want to be famous. You want to go into the entertainment world. You want to be of them. Then that's fine. There's some people are in there that are into the truth. We have Hebrews in there. You have to stay grounded. You have to stay rooted in the word. No, you can't have an open marriage. You can't do what you want in marriage. You are to be with that woman and you are to be with that man. No open marriage, no. No. It doesn't go that way. Once you sleep with somebody, you married to them back in the Bible times. So marriage is always on the table. Fornication, stop it. You wonder why you can't have a baby. You wonder why, the baby has not survived. Because God tell you. You go to him. Every child I went to him and prayed and asked him, God, I want a, healthy child. I want to be blessed. And not saying people who have unhealthy kids are not blessed. But God didn't create us to be sick. He didn't create us to suffer. Those are plagues. Those are something that went wrong in generations. He is the giver of life. He's the taker of life. So if something happened, you pray over your child and your child can be healed. He healed everybody in the Bible that came to him and was clean in their heart and wanting healing. There are people who had cerebral palsy in the Bible and they were healed from it. There are people who had all kind of plagues on them. They were healed from it. Cancer, you can be healed from it. Having any illness, you can be cured for it. You have to hearken your heart to him. And he will heal you. He will heal you. You are healed. You are restored in him. And he has a date when you come away from this world. When you are to serve him. Get into the Bible. Love him. Keep his commandments. And see how your life and see how the blessings will pour out. He tells you how to survive in this world. You have to love him. You have to follow his commandments. And I'm healed. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I am, and that means he's a tribe of Judah. So you're Jewish. Like he's a Jew, the Messiah. He walked this world. He's a Jew. He's a black Jew. Black. He was dark skinned. He had woolly hair, long hair. He was dark. He was not what they, create the images in. Thou shalt not create graven images. There are no images in your house of him. No crosses, nothing that symbolize other than calling his name Jesus. We don't know how he looks. They paint this picture, but that's not how he looks. He was a dark-skinned man. And they didn't like that. They didn't believe he was the son of God. You have to believe in them both to receive salvation. And I'm thankful every Sabbath, even though I don't have a church to worship. I worship in my home. My grandmother worshiped in our house. She rarely went to church. And now I get it. Because they decide what they want to preach. They decide what they want to teach. They don't go in depth in the Bible like my pastors, Pastor Johnson, Pastor Bowie. They don't. They don't preach how they preach. How the Hebrew Israelites preach. Those pastors, that are, Bowie's from Riverdale, Chicago, Illinois. Pastor Johnson is from Fort Lauderdale, and I met, him, and I hope to see Bowie this year. I am happy that I have a Hebrew Israelite husband that is leading us the right ways. We're not crazy. We don't think we're better than anybody. We are serving God the way he has instructed us to. Read the Bible. You will understand everything that I'm telling you. Read it. And I'm thankful to be able to spread the knowledge, spread the gospel, because it's his. It's not mine. And I don't debate with anybody. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a man. I'm a man, but I'm not a man. There to teach. So I just want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that there is a place when you leave this earth. Serve him, not the world. Do the things of him and see. Love those who curse you. Pray for those who pray against you. Have no strife with anyone. Forgive. So that's my time. It's Queen Cleo. And I'm happy to be a Hebrew Israelite. I am healed. I am restored in the God Messiah. I am a Hebrew. And I want you guys to know your identity. This is nothing that I am trying to get famous for. I am doing the works of him. The Messiah. The one and only God. Serve him or serve the world. That's my time.